Languages available today are English and French. To help our interpreters, please don't forget to tell us before the language in which you will ask your question, your name and organization. We open the floor now. Questions?
Bonjour, Jean-Damien Lecé pour RFI, je vais parler en français. Coach, quel bilan global tirez-vous de cette Coupe du Monde?
Déjà, merci. Comme bilan, déjà, c'est peut-être très tôt de faire une analyse directe. Bon, je crois que là, maintenant, on va être plus calme, voir un peu les points positifs sur lesquels on a pu gagner, voir les points négatifs qui nous ont peut-être empêchés de traverser ces huitièmes de finale et faire les étapes pour pouvoir mieux se préparer pour les éditions futures et pour le capitaliser pour notre football féminin au Cameroun.
Tournaments and to further improve the game in Cameroon as a whole.
Question en français, Pierre-Étienne Minonzio de l'équipe. Est-ce que vous avez eu la sensation, clairement aujourd'hui, d'être défavorisé par l'arbitrage et par le VAR en particulier?
Vous parlez d'impression. Bon, je ne sais pas ce que vous avez eu, vous, en tant que journaliste et observateur. Votre analyse doit sûrement rejoindre aussi mon analyse.
But I think perhaps you agree with what I saw.
Lara Salamatoussi, RTV Cameroun, coach, bravo. À quel moment vous avez senti que le match vous échappait et est-ce qu'au terme de cette rencontre, vous avez le sentiment d'être frustré?
Oui, déjà, je crois que j'ai senti que le match nous échappait dès la 14e minute quand on a ce coup franc dans les 5m50 contre nous. Je crois que ça a été un peu un abus. Bon, à partir de ce moment, on a senti que ça devait être un peu difficile parce qu'il fallait déjà tout faire pour ne pas prendre de but dans les 20 premières minutes. Malheureusement, les officiels auraient souhaité autre chose. Bon, mais à partir de là, vous savez, c'est les dames. Les dames, après ce but, je crois qu'elles ont un peu baisser des rythmes, mais je crois qu'il faudrait leur tirer un coup de chapeau sur la qualité des jeux qu'elles ont produites malgré ces erreurs d'arbitrage. Ah oui, ça peut être une frustration, mais vous savez, on va dire c'est le football, c'est fair play. Nous sommes restés fair play, c'est le foot.
In English, you say there, perhaps you agree with what I saw. I saw a team that lost control. I saw a team that shamed football. I saw a team that refused to accept clear and decisive VAR decisions, and a team that should have had more players sent off. What did you see?
Ok, merci. Je crois que je ne dois pas faire un commentaire de votre analyse. C'est votre analyse. Je respecte votre analyse.
I respect your thoughts on the game, but I shan't comment further on that.
Coach Alain Jeffas, Richard Naha de africafoot.fr. Coach, on vous a vu, après toutes ces erreurs d'arbitrage, soutenir vos filles et leur demander de jouer. Pourquoi vous n'avez pas voulu créer l'électrochoc en leur demandant de sortir du stade? Parce que clairement, c'était une injustice. Et devant une injustice, il n'y a pas de demi-mesure.
Ah oui, merci. Bon, je crois que nous restons d'abord des éducateurs. C'est vrai, à un moment, ce côté-là, on pouvait le faire ressortir, mais je crois que j'ai eu vraiment du calme. Je remercie le Seigneur qui m'a donné ce calme à ce moment parce que je me connais. Parfois, je suis dans certains états, mais là, j'ai vraiment eu un calme. Je crois que la raison a pris la lance sur la passion. Et je peux que remercier le Seigneur à ce moment.
Ultimately, there was a lot of passion out there going on, but I have to thank God for keeping me calm.
Coach, question in English, please. There was some suggestion in the tunnel that you felt you were the victim of a racist injustice or conspiracy or plot, that there was racism was at the heart of this. Is that right?
Non. J'ai juste dit que c'était une injustice. Je me suis arrêté à l'injustice. Pourquoi devrais-je parler autre chose? Non, c'est le football, c'est un jeu. C'est un jeu. Parfois, peut-être l'arbitre s'est trompé, mais sauf que ce soit l'arbitre s'est beaucoup trompé.
Just a second, the microphone.
question in English. You say the referee made a lot of mistakes, but to the English journalists here, we thought the referee had a very good game. So can you tell us what mistakes you thought the referee made, please?
Oui, je crois que vous me prenez à chaud là. Je ne peux pas expliquer ça. Vous avez le match, vous allez revoir le match et je crois que
I'm not
vous
able
aurez
to
l'occasion
explain
de
this. I
déceler
think
ces erreurs.
you can watch the match back and you can ultimately identify them if you do review the game.
Hi, Rob Harris from Associated Press. Two parts. First of all, did you order your players not to come through the mix zone because most of them haven't come through? They've disrespected the FIFA rules. And then I have an actual question. Could you answer that, please? Why did your players, most of them, not come through the mix zone?
Non, les joueurs sont passés à la zone mixte. Tout était
No,
là-bas.
the players did go through the mix zone. They were all there and they all answered questions.
No, they didn't. Right, now, and so now the question. FIFA talks about this tournament, about setting examples and being inspiring children around the world and trying to bring a new generation of players and fans and trying to inspire particularly young girls who play the game. Do you feel your players are bad role models the way they petulantly refuse to continue playing at times?
Moi, je crois que vous dites bien que nos joueurs, que c'est une impression. Vous voyez, l'impression est relative. Parce que quand je vois les joueurs,
excuse me, I think that's your feeling. I think that's your feeling that the players never refused to play, but ultimately I don't think we ever stopped actually and refused to play. So I think that was just your feeling there, but ultimately I think my players were examples.
Quand il est un peu choqué, je crois qu'il peut.
And occasionally when you are in a state of shock,
peut-être vouloir le faire savoir, mais c'est peut-être la façon, mais les joueuses n'ont jamais refusé.
You can lose your cool, but I don't think the players ever really refused to play the game, and I think they showed professionalism, and I take my hat off to them for that.
We need to go to the next question here in a white. Two less questions, please.
Thank you. A question in English, please. Firstly, please, could you just explain what were your players unhappy about at the decision to award Ellen White's goal? They seem to be pointing to the big screen. What were they unhappy about there in that specific instance? And secondly, Phil Neville has said that he felt what today's game didn't feel like football. Please, could you just give your reaction to that? Do you think that was like a normal game of football?
I may ask you to repeat the last part of your question because he missed the translation.
Sure. Shall I start again, just in English? Sorry. So firstly, could you please just explain what were your players unhappy about with the awarding of Ellen White's goal? They appear to be pointing towards the big screen. What was the problem there? What were they unhappy about? And secondly, Phil Neville has said the scenes today did not feel like football. Can I just get your reaction to that? Do you agree that it was not like football?
Non, moi je crois que nous tous nous avons vu le match et je crois que c'est inutile que nous revenions sur les mêmes choses.
And I think it's pointless going back, raking over old graves, what the referee got right or wrong. Everyone has their opinions, but as I said, everyone has their representation. They can believe what they think, but ultimately what has happened is the game is over, everyone saw the match, and I'm a little bit disappointed, but everyone has their opinion on it.
A question for the coach in English. I was just wondering if you could go back to the game and you could do it all again. Would you change the way that you reacted or your players reacted? Or are you proud of the way they acted?
Non, moi je crois que nous avons préparé le match pour le gagner. Et je crois que quand vous avez vu l'entame ou bien l'ensemble du match, je crois qu'on a eu du répondant. Parce que même à 2-0, quand nous revenons à la deuxième minute, nous marquons un but. Malheureusement, qui a encore refusé. Si on avait laissé ce 2-1, je peux vous rassurer que le match aurait eu un autre résultat maintenant.
Coach will come back with the England press conference. Thank you.
Thank you too.
You should sit at the back. Innit, Ian? At the back. He's not allowed to ask a question.
Okay.
He's a very bad man.
Okay, we're ready.
Recycled here.
Good evening and welcome to the post-match press conference with Team England. We have with us today Coach Phil Neville. As you know, we're using an interpretation system, so you say your name, media organization, and the language you will ask the question, and we can start now.
I want to speak first, if that's possible. One, Steph can't be with. She got the man of the match. She can't be with us. She's on the treatment table. The tackle at the end, obviously, that everyone saw. So it's more important. I apologise that she recovers. She's in a lot of pain. She's got ice on her ankle. So I took the decision to pull her out of the press conference to get more treatment. So it's not FIFA's fault this time. Secondly, I came to this World Cup to be successful, but also to play a part in making women's football globally more visible, globally better, to put on a show that the rest of the world can see that women's football is improving. It's getting to a level now of excitement and quality, the crowds, the stadium, what we've seen in the World Cup so far. And I sat through 90 minutes of football there and felt ashamed. Ashamed and proud of my own players' performances, proud of my own players' behaviour, under circumstances that I've never seen on a football field before, and complete and utterly ashamed of the behaviour of the opposition. I make no bones about it. I didn't enjoy the game for that reason. My players didn't enjoy the game for that reason, apart from the fact we're now in a quarter-final and we've got momentum. And all those young girls that are watching back in England and the young boys that are playing in grassroots football are watching. You know, we've had 5, 6, 7 million people watching us, are watching England play an international game against Cameroon with that kind of behaviour. I think it's pretty sad. And I can't sit here now and just gloss over it, fudge it. I've got to tell the truth to everybody. And that's how I felt on the touchline. That's how my players felt. And I'm so proud of their behaviour in such circumstances that I've never, ever seen on a football field. It takes you back to the times when you was a kid and you lost and you went home crying with your ball. And that's it, really. And we're in the quarter-final against Norway.
Hey, a question in English. Claire Bloomfield, The Sun. The coach told his players at half-time, don't worry, the referee wants England to win. What's your assessment of that?
When I started in management, I think it was Arsene Wenger told me, the team mirror the manager. And obviously, their team mirrored their manager. Behaviour. If that was any of my players, it will never be any of my players. They would never play for England again with that kind of behaviour. I feel sorry for the referee. The decisions were correct. And I think the referee at the end was probably trying to protect football by not giving the penalty, not giving the sending off. She was trying to protect football, and I admire her unbelievably for that. I think what we've seen today is we've seen people fighting in the VIP area. We've seen Cameroon people fighting at our hotel, and we've seen that behaviour on the field. So I would say, get your ship in order first before you start throwing stones. I'm just proud of my players. I'm proud of my organisation that I work for because we've handled ourselves with class. And that makes me very proud.
Phil Neville, Richard Naha, question in French. Monsieur Neville, nous sommes contents de votre speech d'avant conférence de presse, mais est-ce que vous ne pensez pas que ce que votre équipe a montré sur le terrain n'est pas la réalité de ce qui s'est passé sur le terrain, parce qu'on a clairement vu un arbitrage qui est pour l'Angleterre et non pour le football. Et on constate exactement, on a constaté que c'était une manière d'éliminer carrément les équipes africaines. Parce que même ce qui s'est passé hier contre l'Allemagne et le Nigeria, c'était la même chose. Et donc, moi, est-ce que vous ne pensez pas que cet arbitrage, l'Angleterre a joué à 12 contre 11?
Was biased. Do you not think it was 12 against 11 on the pitch this evening?
I've got great respect for Nigeria and I've got great respect for Cameroon. Germany was the better team, they won, and England was the better team today. And I'm proud of my players. I grew up, I remember 1990, the great Cameroon team, Roger Miller. I fell in love with football because of moments like that. Yeah, the semi-final against England was one of the best games of football that made me want to play football for England. That was played in a spirit that football should be played in. Two great teams with great players, running, working, trying their best to make their country proud. That's why I fell in love with football. I've played with two Nigerian players, Yakubu, Joseph Yobo, who I shared a dressing room with for 8 years, who were an absolute credit to their country. This, I hope, is an isolated incident. It's a one-off because I've got great respect for African football. But I've got to say the accusations and the comments that you've made, I totally disagree with. The better team won. The players with the better attitudes won. And the players and the team with the best humility, class, and quality won.
Hi, question in English. Rob Harris from Associated Press. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm not necessarily aware what exactly happened in the VIP area and back at the hotel. I was wondering if you could expand on that.
No, I think we just talk football.
Yeah. And could I just ask on the referee? Do you think she should have just blown the whistle to restart the game when those sort of incidents were happening in terms of the players not resuming? What do you think happened?
Do you know what? Like I say, I don't know what you can do in that situation. You just probably have to ask the referees that. My players didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. So it was difficult for her. I thought she kept her composure incredibly. She tried to keep the game flowing and in the spirit of football. And I think in the end, her probably task was, let's get through 90 minutes here and let's go home. And she did it outstandingly. And I think we've had this referee before, maybe in the first or second game, and she reffed it well in that game as well. So I'd say full respect to the referee for handling a difficult situation.
The gentleman there. Sorry.
Hi, Phil. Ian Herbert from the Mail, speaking in English. Do you think that FIFA needs to take a long look at whether Cameroon should continue playing in the women's game until, if they do behave like that? I mean, FIFA needs to look at it rather than, we all complaining about it tonight.
Look, it's an isolated incident, I hope. It's a one-off. I've watched Cameroon's last 3 games in the World Cup, and their supporters outside the hotel today were dancing and singing, and that's what the World Cup's all about. That's what my vision of Cameroon and African nations is, the joy that which they bring, the way they dance into the dressing rooms and the fun. So I'm hoping this is just an isolated incident with a group of players that so desperately wanted to do well. You could feel their emotion and their hurt, So I think the images will be powerful, and I think that will be enough of punishment and deterrent for them to do it in the future. And I'm sure that they regret how they behaved. And we want Cameroon, we want Nigeria, we want every nation to have a women's football team. We're here to promote women's football. Yes, we want to win, but we want the image around the world to be good for that little girl that's playing on the parks in wherever you are in the world, and to have two African teams in the World Cup is special. Special. It means that the game is growing worldwide, and they've been fantastic. I'm not here to criticise a nation. I'm here to criticise an action that I believe was so bad for the image of the game that I've fallen in love with over the last 18 months. But we've got to move on fast. They will learn from it, I hope, and hopefully in the next World Cup, they will qualify and they will be better for this experience.
Louise Taylor from The Guardian. how seriously might Steph be injured?
Well, we're concerned about her. She's not someone that stays down. Late tackle, and we're going to have to do everything possible to get her fit for the quarter-final. She's a big player for us, our captain. Her and Lucy Bronze, I thought, was outstanding tonight. Your big players stand up in the big occasion. I thought their composure of the two captains, I thought those two composure spread through the team.
Molly Hudson from The Times, a question in English. I was just wondering, Phil, when you were stood on the sidelines and watching that, when you were making your substitutions, were you sort of thinking, maybe I should take my players like Steph and Lucy off to protect them from what eventually happened?
No, my main focus was getting Leah Williamson and Lucy Stanningforth on the pitch, to be honest with you, and Jodie Taylor. I'd not made a promise to these players, but I think every time they looked at me, Williamson and Stanningforth, over the last 4 days since Japan, you could see, where's my opportunity? You've shouted to the world about everyone getting opportunities, and I've not had my opportunity yet. So that was the focus for me, is to get two outstanding young players onto that football pitch and deservedly get a World Cup debut. That made me very proud tonight. We've got one player in Mary Earps that's not yet got on the pitch. But she's performing in her own right off the pitch as well. So I had no qualms about anything happening on the pitch that was making me worried. But it gave me the opportunity to get Ellen, Jill, and Nikita off to give them some rest.
Hi, Matt Dickinson from The Times in English.
Is it proud of the question?
You're proud of your players sort of for getting through it, but there was times when they looked like they were getting like, oh my God, what's going on? Composure.
I was.
Throwing forward, are you going to have to sit down and talk with them about, look, if scenes happen, whatever they're caused by, whoever's to blame, in the quarterfinals, potentially semi-finals, it's only, tension's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I think this is a one-off. I've got to say, I think everybody will learn from this. My players, I've got to say that they didn't need me to go onto the pitch to tell them how to behave. I didn't even mention it in a half time. I came in at half time after 5 minutes, and all I kept hearing was, stay in your lane, stay in the zone, keep passing the ball, don't get involved. So they policed themselves, and I thought that was fantastic, because you know what, I actually didn't know what was going on. I thought, are they just going to walk off? So the way that they kept their discipline, I thought was great. And we've been told the rules. When the referee comes over to look at the video screen, 99% of the time the decision is going to be given for you. So we knew that the minute that the referee came over, Ellen White's goal was going to be onside. We have screens now on the bench. It was Nikita on the left wing that was offside, but obviously not interfering with play. So the composure is something that we've worked really hard on since the Argentina game. They did well. Today they've done well, and it bodes well for when the pressure really ramps up in the next 2 or 3 games.
Question in English, Phil. You went over to the Cameroon coach at some stage in the second half. Can you just clarify what you said to him, please?
Yeah, look, I give him support because I think it was their players that were emotional, and their coach was trying to tell them to get back on the field, and it's very difficult. He was obviously in a difficult situation. So I spoke to him before the game. They're in our hotel, and I wanted to go and give a fellow coach support and reassurance that, let's just keep playing football. This is the World Cup. And that's what I said to him. This is the World Cup. Win, lose or draw. We've got a duty to promote football, women's football, which it's been a struggle for 20 to 30 to 40 years. We're now at a brilliant point, and that's why I walked over to him and tried to just stand side by side with him and say, look, there's something bigger than just giving a goal away or a penalty here. Let's just play football.
No worries.
Hi, Phil. Congratulations. Rebecca Myers, Sunday Times question in English. You say that you're sharing a hotel, both teams. Have you got concerns going back this evening about...
No. No. We've loved... I think I said yesterday, when we landed at Lille, Laura, my team ops girl, said, we're in the same hotel as Cameroon. And I thought, no, that's not right. And then we went to the hotel, and it's been amazing. we saw them go out to training yesterday morning and they had a ghetto blaster. I think the kit man had a ghetto blaster. He walked out the hotel singing and dancing. My players joined in, dancing in the corridors. Our meal rooms, meeting rooms are side by side. And I think it's like, that's the spirit of football. And then when we left today, virtually the whole of reception was virtually Cameroon supporters. And there was a carnival atmosphere. They were singing and dancing outside the hotel. My players, they like to sing and dance themselves. So it made them smile. Me and Sue were sat at the front of the bus and we were smiling. It's this feel-good factor. That's what African teams bring to World Cups. That's why we love them. That's why we love them. If you saw the players at the end, they were all hugging each other. They were all hugging each other. There was a great respect between the players. This, like I said, this is an isolated incident where a group of players probably in great emotion just probably didn't know how to react in a certain situation. And that is why probably this has been built up.
One last
and it
question.
can happen that in football.
Sorry. One last question in the back. And in the back there. Yep. Oh, you had the...
Sorry, in English, please. Sorry, Phil. Could I just double check? Replays appear to suggest that Tony Duggan thought she'd been spat on at some point in the first half after the back pass incident. Is that something she spoke to you about? Was she upset about that, or?
No, actually, Wendy's just mentioned it to me now. I think it's pretty clear. Is it? Yeah, pretty clear. So unacceptable. And I will praise Tony Duggan because obviously that for me is the worst form of anything that you can do on a football pitch, really, that kind of thing. So there's no place for it on a football field. Tony Duggan was fantastic the way she handled it. And I think it just showed the level of humility and class my players showed when I think she said she just wiped it off her and got on with playing football. That for me makes me very proud.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.